Hi guys, got another horror DVD review today. This is the sci-fi original film, which originally aired on the channel in 2012, but it came out on DVD in 2013, and that is The Lake Placid for Final Chapter. It stars Yancy Butler, Elizabeth Rum, and the absolute horror legend Robert Englund, who of course played Freddy Krueger in the Nightmare on Elm Street series. And you know, I was really surprised to see him in this film particularly because a lot of people, it's a really low budget film and a lot of people aren't even aware of it, and especially because it's a sci-fi original. You know, them films have a sort of a reputation to be terrible, and you can tell this is a sci-fi original film. There's a lot of nudity, a lot of blood, and a lot of CGI crocodiles. And overall, it's a pretty poor film, but it was kind of fun at the same time. And I'm just going to go ahead and talk about it and just let you know what I think. So it's called The Final Chapter, which at the end of the film leads to suggest that there could be more sequels. Like, it's definitely, the story isn't finished, even though, you know, everything says, like, you know, the final chapter, the conclusion to the series and everything. But then again, so did the fourth Friday the 13th, and that was also called The Final Chapter. And we all know how many sequels there is to that. There's 10. So yeah. The film itself was okay. Like I said, there's a lot of violence. There's quite a lot of violence, but most of it is CGI. The crocodiles look absolutely terrible. The crocodiles are really bad CGI. They're massive crocodiles, so that's pretty cool. I think some of them, I think it said 20 feet, which is twice as big as a regular crocodile does get. But you know, they're really CGI, and it's really hard to take the film seriously because the first time we seen it, we was laughing at ourselves. We was laughing at it, sorry, between us. You know, the film's full of not plot holes, but silly decisions, and like every single character is the biggest stereotype you can imagine. You know what I mean? You got the vicious poacher, the small town sheriff who falls in love, the father-son complicated relationship, and it's all in there, all the stereotypes that you expect. You know, the slutty teenagers, you get it all with this. But then, you know, it kind of doesn't pretend to be anything else, because it says, like, it's anything but tasteless. And remember, the cover for the third one, you know, hints that it's just a cheesy film made for the sake of kind of some cheap laughs and a couple of cool kills. Now, there was a couple of decent kills in there, but which were ruined by the poor CGI. The ideas were good, but overall, there was just too many things in the film for me that were just like, well, that wouldn't happen. Like, so the film, basically, it's about the area in which all the other films have taken place with Lake Placid, and it's been kind of a military operation to quarantine the area. There's electric gates all around it to keep people in and to keep these massive giant crocodiles inside, which is a pretty cool idea, but it's really poorly executed. Like, for example, there was no one manning the gates. Like, if there's massive man-eating crocodiles inside of these gates, there would be armed guards outside, surely. And one of the guards, the one guard, well, he's more of a technician actually, hears screaming inside, so he decides to open the gate, go inside, and start shouting, like, hello. Which you wouldn't do if you know there's crocodiles, because he'd previously seen some bird, what was it, I think it was a turkey, get massacred,
I think so.
or a pheasant or something, get massacred by these giant crocodiles, and they just seem to have no fear of it, and of course the boy gets dragged away by a crocodile. You know, so that's just one example of the many stupid character decisions within the film. There's a couple more that I can't really think of, like, for example, jumping into, like, this is whilst doing some research, they just dove into crocodile-infested waters, which isn't, I wouldn't say that's a smart move to make, but that's just me, I suppose. The film does kind of link together the series quite well. I can't remember too much of number 2 and 3, but I can remember number 1, and it has a lot to do with the original, a woman who was feeding the crocodiles in the first one. I'd say that out of the sequels to the first one, this is probably the best. I think 2 and 3 weren't great. Like I said, I can't really remember 3 much, but that probably shows how much of a poor film it is. But yeah, I'd say this is my second favourite in the series, and I can see them trying to make more, but I'm not sure whether people would be too happy with that, because it's just a bit of just a really poorly done film. But, you know, visually it looked well, you know, the acting was terrible, the dialogue was terrible, but still, it was just it's a guilty little pleasure I found this film, like, to enjoy it. And I won't be recommending it, I'm giving it for enjoyment of 4 out of 10, but overall it's a poor film. Have you got a rating as well?
5, I quite enjoyed it.
So yeah, it's like a guilty pleasure, isn't it? I mean, yeah. I was really surprised to see them come out in England. I wasn't expecting it to, and I've seen it in Kex for £6, and £6 off. Considering how new it is, I can't complain at that. And I was so surprised to see it in there, because I just did not think it was going to get a UK release. I mean, I was surprised it was even getting a DVD release, because not all sci-fi films do. But, you know, like, all you need to know, this is a sci-fi original. Surely you can really tell what them kind of films contain and what to expect. I mean, I'm surprised it's at 15 as well, because there was lots of nudity, there's lots of violence, and there's, you know, the language and everything. So I'm surprised it's a 15, because some of the stuff these days that are 18 do not warrant 18 to be 18, because they have any violence or anything. But yeah, so that's 15, but it doesn't mean to skip on the violence and skipping on the nudity, which is what you expect from these kind of films. So overall, it was a pretty poor film, but it was a fun to watch. I'm not going to say you need to watch this film unless you like sci-fi films and you enjoy cheesy films, because some people, that is their guilty pleasure, and for me, that is the case. So, you know, if you do like cheesy films and you want a bit of a laugh, I suppose you could play this with a drinking game. Yeah, that is my review of Lake Placid, the final chapter. Don't really think you need to watch this. You know, your life won't be any better off if you do watch it. But yeah, I've also got 2 new films which I found today. I've got Creep, that was £1, and something I'm really excited about, it's called Nightmare City, which is an 80s film. I think like zombies or vampires, I read online even. I have no idea about it, but I was just happy to find that it looks exactly like the kind of films that I'm into. And that's going to be a really good addition to my collection. So thank you for watching. That's my review of Lake Placid 4, the final chapter. Will there be more to come? I don't know. I don't think so, but I think they were hinting at it. So yeah, thank you for watching, and please subscribe, and I'll keep putting the videos on.